Alright guys, so here is a quick tutorial on using clipping masks in Photoshop to make a collage. So I've attached a bunch of clipping mask backgrounds that you guys can use, but if you want, you can use other files as well. Any kind of shape should work just fine, finding something online. Alright, I've already added in clipping mask background 6 right here, as we can see it. And when we look at this, I'm going to then go into adding some images. So I have these images here that I've exported from Lightroom already from graduation, but you might also just right click on them, edit in Photoshop from Lightroom, and drag them in one by one. Because I've exported them, what I'm able to do is grab them, hold Shift, and move them directly into the project. So as I drop these in here, it'll ask me to resize them. And once I have that size, I can place enter, and then it'll ask me to drag in the next. So I have a bunch of graduation photos, and I'm just going to kind of overlap these. It doesn't need to be perfect yet because I'm going to have more images than what I need, but let's just get through this. And through the magic of editing, I've got them all placed here. Now, right now we've got a lot of overlap, and I don't necessarily like that. So what I can do is go to the Move tool up here, or V on the keyboard, click on an image, and then I can add a mask to it. And once I have that layer mask selected, this white block, I can open up the paintbrush tool, and I can paint black where I want things to disappear. So I can make sure my brush is set to a soft brush, and then I can just paint away onto that mask for the image that I have selected, which was not the right one. So let's go back to this one, put that mask on it, paint, and that way I can see their part of their head right here. And I'm going to do that throughout these images just to give things a little bit of a softer look. So as I select using the Move tool, this one right here, add that layer mask with the brush and feather that so we get a nice little fade between our images. Sometimes I may need to place images behind ones to get a better fade, or I can hit Control Z to step back if I didn't like that effect. So I'm going to go through all of these real quick and I'll show you the final result. Alright, so I've added a nice little feather effect to each one, so there's just a little bit more blending. The more overlap you have in the image, the easier this is to do. Once I have all of these images done, I'm going to click on the top layer, hold Shift, click on the bottom layer to select all of them, right click on them, and go to Create Clipping Mask. And what that does is it clips all of the images into the mask below, which was this one right here. So they're all clipped into that. Now that I have that, I can add a background by clicking on this new icon and making sure to drag that below the clipping mask to the background. And then I can go to the paint bucket tool, which is G right here, and I can pick a background color like this gray just to have everything pop out. If I want to add a little more of a pop out, I can click on this clipping mask, go to FX, and go to Drop Shadow. And that will add a drop shadow, so I can pick the angle. Let's add a little bit of distance, spread to that size, there we go. So more like that. Move that in a little bit closer, and just play around with that however I want this. And that's looking pretty good for me, so I can just hit OK. From there, I'm going to make sure I come up here to File, Save a Copy, as well as Export and Quick Export as JPEG or PNG. This is a quick activity, teaches you a lot about clipping masks as well as blending images for a collage. You can also make sure to add some text right here if you want to add some text to your image, which I'm going to do that now. Graduation 2024. And make sure that is not under your clipping masks. So I'm going to right click and hit release from clipping mask for this. And make sure I spell graduation correctly. Also, let's find a better font. So I can move that right there. There we go. Nice little collage I'm very happy with. Good luck with the project. Can't wait to see what you guys make.